Hello, everyone. Welcome to KenCast. It's wonderful to be back with you. Just got back from a huge trip up to the Northeast to Boston and Washington, D.C., and we're trying to push our case for the release of Terry Silver. Thank you all for joining us today. It's great to see you, whether you're watching live or on the replay. And a happy Veterans Day weekend to everyone. I know some people watching are veterans, and thank you for your service. We want to thank everyone who has served their country. So it's great to be with you. And so today, I thought I would kind of give you some updates on my trip and what happened and the people I met with, and also talk about some news, things that are going on in the world, the Cobra Kai world or the filmmaking world. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts, and we'll open it up to a lot of discussion. It looks like we've already had so many great comments. Great to see you, Sebastian. Thanks for joining us today. Big T. My goodness. I have to say, I am honored every time the Big T shows up. I'm honored when all of you watch, but the Big T, he's a special guy. We're a big fan of the Big T. And he says, "Good afternoon, Ken Cole. Always thankful for your efforts on my behalf, my friend." And I have to say, the idea that I've achieved friendship with Terry Silver is wonderful. I've had to do so many things. If you can watch my short film Cobra Cole, also on this channel, I think that there's a link in the description if you want to check it out, to get a little background on that. But thank you, Big T. Really appreciate it. Always glad that you spend your time. I guess right now you might have a lot of extra time if you're behind bars. I don't know. But thank you for spending your precious time right here on KenCast. It's great to see you. AEH, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Nerd World, thanks for joining us today. Relectify Streams, good afternoon. Ken, good afternoon. It's wonderful seeing you guys. Bryce Productions, great to see you. Peter Vonasak, watch out, Mike Barnes is behind you. That's right, Mike Barnes and Dennis. They are both behind me. Very lucky to have a signed picture with Sean Cannon and William Christopher Ford, who have both appeared on the channel. So great to see you, Peter, and thank you for your service. Peter is an amazing Cobra Kai content creator. You need to check out the Cobra Kai Companion podcast and everything he does. He's just got so much information with so many interviews of people associated with the Cobra Kai show and the Karate Kid universe. But I want to thank Peter for his service. Peter is a veteran. So thank you, Peter. Thanks for serving the country. Lara, great to see you. John, Fanny, wonderful to see you. Aurelio Cortez, thank you for being a member, Aurelio. Thank you so much, guys. If you want to help the channel in kind of a subscription way, we have memberships you can join. And then there are, some perks. And so please consider joining if you want to support the channel. Aurelio, hi, Sensei Cole, excited for today's show. Well, I'm excited, and I'm excited that you're all with me today. Bryce Productions says, Ken Cole, didn't you and William Christopher Ford talk about Brandon Lee being Mike Barnes? If so, which interview was that, in part 1 or part 2? Thank you for bringing that up, Bryce. I did kind of like a 2-part interview with William Christopher Ford on my channel, and he has such a fascinating life because he's humble. He doesn't want to say it, but he is a martial arts master. And so we kind of split things up. We split it up. The first part has to do with Karate Kid 3 and all the background with Karate Kid 3 and some stories he hasn't even told before. That's in that part 1. And then part 2 is his life and how he studied martial arts and his influences and Bruce Lee and advice on bullying. And so both parts are well worth it. It's very calming listening to Sensei William Christopher Ford, and he's just an amazing guy. So if you want to know the story about Brandon Lee, that would be in part 1. I thought that was fascinating. Lisa, great to see you. I am doing wonderful. It's great to be back. It was a very refreshing trip to the Northeast, and it's great to see you. Daniel, great to see you, Daniel. Thanks for joining us today. Peter says, Big T follows me on Instagram. I have to be on my P's and Q's. That's right. Peter, the Big T knows all. He knows everything. So the best we can do is try to be on his good side. Right, Big T? Yes. Josh, hi, Ken. Christine from Tig Daily, be strong, no mercy with your illness. Yes, we've seen Christine. She's been on KenCast. She's been on this channel before. She is a super fan of Thomas Ian Griffith. She runs Tig Daily, And right now, she is dealing with some health issues. We hope her a speedy recovery. And we look forward to seeing her again, promoting all those great things about Thomas Ian Griffith. So Bryce Production says, we need Snake. I agree. We need Snake. So one thing that William Christopher Ford mentioned in our interview is that Jonathan Albertson is kind of mysterious. He's out there somewhere, but we don't know where. So Jonathan Albertson, you portrayed Snake. If you're watching, if you are around, please come on back. We'd love to see you portray Snake one more time. I know a lot of us would agree with that as well. Lara says Bruce Lee smashed Terry Silver. I don't know. Bruce Lee, he was wonderful. He was amazing. But did he learn from Master Kim Sun-young? I don't know. Honestly, if you look at martial arts actors, actors who are martial artists, obviously Bruce Lee is an amazing way he presented martial arts. But Thomas Ian Griffith, multiple black belts, and his acting prowess. I mean, it's just, I think he's got to be one of the top martial arts actors in movie history. That's for sure. Dorothy M, great to see you. Silverse. Yes, the Silverse. I like that. It's better than the Miyagi-verse, right? I don't know. The Miyagi-verse is pretty cool. Arkansas Dave, great to have you back. Hi, great to see you. Big T is always watching. Just remember that. Dorothy, great to see you, Dorothy. And if Christine, if you're here watching, say hi. I'm sorry if I missed your comment, but yeah, we hope you're feeling better. Sebastian says, poor Terry. He was living the most wonderful change of his new life, yet John Kreese came and showed up out of nowhere just to ruin his reputation. His redemption life. Sorry. Terry Silver has good qualities, though. Yeah, he has many good qualities. And, we'll get to it. But, even Hayden Schlossberg, who was on our last KenCast, in a comment, said that he lifts people up. And we'll get to that in a second. But that's one of his great qualities. Marianella, wonderful to see you. Dennis could be Devin's father, maybe. Yeah, it's interesting, and I wonder if the creators have in mind where Dennis might fit in this Cobra Kai universe, because he does exist. I know that they've probably talked about bringing Dennis in. They haven't yet with season 5, but that's why we need to get to season 6 and beyond. I'm looking forward to Dennis coming back. I don't know if Snake will come back, but I would love to see Snake come back. Daniel says, how is meeting Mike and Cody? Wonderful. And I look forward to, I'm going to show you some pictures here in just a little bit. And it was really, really fantastic. Ken Cole, which one would you want back more, Dutch or Snake? Oh my gosh. Well, Dutch definitely is tied directly into the original Cobras and into Johnny. So, and Bobby and Daniel. So I think from a story standpoint, it would be very interesting to have Dutch come back. And he's such a great character, and I know we'd want to see more of him. But, Snake is wonderful too. So I'd love to have them both come back. But if I had to choose one, maybe Dutch, just because of his connections to Kreese and Johnny and all these people. So let's see. What else do we have? Josh says, save Silver. Terry's is a Kreese and Danny Boy victim. Terry just wanted the best for teens. Yeah, he is. And also Big T, he's saying he says he's wrong, that we're wrong. He is Devin's father, which is amazing, because I think last week when we were in Washington, D.C., am I wrong, Big T? Did you say that you were Forrest Gump's father? I apologize if I got that wrong. We'd have to look at that. But if you want to see just a fun live stream, check out last week's Washington D.C. live stream, where I'm in front of the Washington Monument and we walk all the way down the mall to the Lincoln Memorial. It was pretty amazing. Aurelio says, did Terry Silver fake his own loss at the end of Cobra Kai season 5? We're going to be discussing that. Someone on Twitter today, a wonderful, wonderful fellow fan, posted a very coherent thought on that, and we will get to that. Arkansas Dave, has Hayden or any of the big three said or mentioned any kind of possibility of Hillary coming on for at least a cameo? I think John Hurwitz has publicly said in his tweets that he would be honored to have her on board, that she's an amazing actress. He's never said anything definitive. And of course, we have Hilary Swank, who's given an interview saying that she hasn't been asked yet. But, we don't know if she's being coy or if that's the truth. It's also very possible that because we don't have an official green light on season 6 yet, no one's able to say anything definitively, and no one's really able to approach Hilary Swank yet because we don't have a season order. So we'll see if that happens. I really hope we do see Hilary Swank in any future seasons of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai Wisdom, who I plotted with in Washington D.C. Save silver to the Supreme Court next time. Yes. Let's go ahead and get into some news, and then we're going to get into the discussion about what happened in Washington D.C. and just thoughts in general, and meeting Cody and meeting Mike and some other people as well. But let's go ahead and get to some news.
KenCast News.
All right. Yeah. All right. Here, news story. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking about season 6. We had questions last week. Are we going to get Cobra Kai season 6? And the closest thing to a morsel on this is from Ralph Macchio. He was interviewed a few days ago, and he says that he thinks that Cobra Kai season 6 will be announced very soon. And here's his exact quote. He said, "Yeah, we've not been picked up for season 6 yet, which we think should happen very soon. But keep watching, keep those numbers going." Okay, so what do I think of this? I think that he wouldn't say this unless he were privy to things going on in the background, that things looked very favorable. And if I had to guess, I think that negotiations are ongoing, and it's just a question of what's the budget going to be? When are they going to shoot? Maybe it's going to be 1 or 2 more seasons, going to be greenlit at once. So this to me feels like there are very positive negotiations happening, and it's just a question of where they will land. And once everyone's signed paperwork, then they're able to announce it. But this is very positive. It looks like we are going to get a season 6. And maybe multiple seasons at once, kind of like how they greenlit seasons 4 and 5 together. So that is pretty interesting. We have Peter, Cobra Kai companion, with his ear to the ground. I don't know anything about any announcements. Okay, so Peter hasn't heard anything. So really, I think this from Ralph Macchio is the best that we know so far. So hopefully we hear something soon. Strike First Media, Cody, who I met on my trip, he put out a video where he's guessing that, we're going to hear something after Obliterated, which is the new season from John, Josh, and Hayden. Once that's done filming, we're going to maybe get some news on Cobra Kai. So once that's done, once that's wrapped up, once that's into post-production, then maybe we'll hear something about the new seasons of Cobra Kai. But I would think we should be hearing something by hopefully December or January, maybe by the end of this month. I don't know, but I think it's very possible that we could, and I think everyone's going to love it. They're going to be very excited. It might be a little bit of a wait before we get to season 6, but that's okay. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? Let's see, roundtable. If they plan to have her this season, who knows? Maybe they're waiting until season 7. Yes. So that's why I think it would be amazing if they greenlight multiple seasons at once. Therefore, John, Josh, and Hayden know how much time, how many episodes they have to work with, and how to fit all these people into the story. I personally wouldn't mind a return of Colonel Dugan. I wouldn't mind returns of Dennis. We talked about Dennis, Snake, if he's available. Obviously, a bigger role for Mike Barnes, I think, would be absolutely fantastic. Josh Marino says, I think the first episodes of next season will be judgment episodes. Maybe Chosen, Barnes, and Johnny will be in prison, but Silver will be angry because he will know Chosen fought drunk. That's right. He doesn't like that. He just barely beat Chosen when he was really drunk. So I don't know. That's fascinating, isn't it? How do we match up these characters now? Bryce says Ralph also said he would like the characters to leave the valley. Season 6 tease. That's a good point. He did continue. Basically, we have a global competition now. So, is it possible that they could leave the valley? Obviously, this would be great for Netflix, I think, because it brings more international uh, attention to the series. It's we go beyond the valley, we go global. It would be wonderful to see these new settings. We saw a little bit of that in season 3 with Daniel going to Okinawa, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. So yeah, I hope that we get maybe all the characters traveling to a new location. I think it just broadens the tapestry of the entire series. I think that would be great. Lucas says, Ken, do you think Kreese will retake Cobra Kai or is he done? Well, we know from Kreese's perspective when he told Terry very sternly that he is Cobra Kai when Terry was having him arrested. So I think that that is John Kreese's goal in life. He wants Cobra Kai to be successful again, and he wants to be in control of Cobra Kai. So I don't think Kreese is going to stop until that happens. And as we saw at the end of season 5, that was really impressive how he got out of prison. So if he can orchestrate that, I don't put anything past Kreese. It's interesting, though. He is in a bit of legal trouble, I think we could all say. So how does he get out of that? Where can he get the resources to? Because he's a fugitive now. Even if he was wrongfully incarcerated, he's a fugitive. He definitely assaulted officers before he was brought to prison. And then getting out of prison, he was assaulting prison guards. So it looks like he's committed crimes regardless. How does he get off? I don't know. That's a really good question. Sebastian says, I'm nowhere near as desperate for season 6 as I was for seasons 3, 4, and 5 before they were released. Yeah, I've heard this from people, and we've talked a lot about the timing of season 5 and should they have waited longer to release season 5 to get more anticipation, because we have had, after like a long break between seasons 2 and 3, we really had seasons 4 and 5 jam-packed together. I mean, we got those in the space of 9 months. When in the past we've had to wait, almost 2 years. And so maybe it's that kind of pacing of the release that, we feel like we've had a wonderful meal that's very big and we're not really hungry. So maybe as time goes on, that will change. I think if they have amazing story ideas, and as time goes on and they release those story ideas and maybe we see teases and trailers, that type of thing, I bet we'll get very excited again, because who knows what's going to happen with these characters and who else are they going to bring into the series. So I think hopefully as time goes on, our appetites will get stronger for season 6 and beyond. Flip the script. Good to see you. Hey, Ken and Peter, great to see you guys. Peter says, how about this? Obliterated's almost done. And there's a Cobra Kai podcast the big 3 has not yet returned to. Yeah, absolutely. Watch Cobra Kai Companion. They are, you will find the big 3 on Cobra Kai Companion. There's a YouTube channel for all the news. So just keep it to these channels, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we hear things about season 6 and the future of Cobra Kai. Let's get back to some more news. Okay, so we've got Cobra Kai 2 Dojos Rising. I don't know if you guys have played this game. This has recently come out. I was about to get it. I've talked to people and I've read a lot. Everyone get this if you're interested. However, I do hear that it's very buggy right now, that there are game-breaking bugs in this game, and hopefully it'll be patched. And I'm personally, I think I'm going to wait and see if some of these bugs get patched, and then when they do, I will go ahead and get it, and maybe we can play it live here and just check it out. But obviously a lot of talent from the shows involved with this, from the cast to Zach and Leo do the soundtrack for this game, so that's really exciting. So hopefully this gets patched, and let me know too if you've already purchased this game, if you've already played this game. What do you think? Are the bugs really bad? Should we wait for it to get patched, or should we go ahead and buy it? So definitely let me know. And so now I want to return to this uh, idea of Terry Silver not being guilty. I've stressed that, for a long time, I've stressed that Terry Silver was maybe unfairly judged in after Cobra Kai season 5. Um, and, obviously there's a lot to talk about in this universe beyond Terry Silver, but it's really, really important. Um, Everyone check out the video if you haven't seen it, where we bring in Cobra Kai Wisdom, but also Badway from the Last Row podcast, and Drew is on there as well to talk about all the legal reasons why Terry Silver is just not guilty, despite what we might think after Cobra Kai season 5. And this really sets up this tweet from Joseph Cobra Kai from today. And I just thought this was great. Now, let's read this together. He says, this is his hot take. Terry threw the fight with Daniel at the end of season 5 since he knew it would be on the cameras. He will then use the footage of Daniel breaking in and assaulting him to expose him to the valley. Silver plays 4D chess. Yes. Daniel spends his tuition on bad investments. Cobra Kai. I thought that this was a really great idea because it doesn't make sense for Daniel to completely dominate Terry Silver. I know Terry's tired. After his fight with Chosen, he's bloodied, he's beaten. But think about this. Everything is on camera. Everything's being recorded. And we have clear evidence of Daniel trespassing into the Cobra Kai dojo and beating Terry Silver, who is a philanthropist and head of this dojo. So could it be that this is Silver's plan to incriminate Daniel? I just thought this was a brilliant way to look at this, and I hadn't seen this point before. And so my question is, what do you guys think? Do you think Joseph Cobra Kai is right? I think it's a brilliant point, and I think this could be exactly what Terry's up to. Let me know what you think in the comments. We have some thoughts on the video game. Josh says Cobra Kai 2 Dojo's Rising is the first time Terry Silver appears in a video game, I think. Yes, and that is my one thing about that game that I really want to play it sometime, because Thomas Ian Griffith voices the character, and on top of that, you can play as Terry Silver, which, again, if you would have told me 30 years ago that there would be a video game where you could play as Terry Silver, I wouldn't have believed you. But now we're in a world where Terry Silver exists in a video game. It's amazing. Sebastian says, my current perspective is that Terry Silver is an anti-hero. Yeah. There's so many ways you can look at Terry Silver, and he's not just a villain, maybe not just a hero, maybe he's an anti-hero. There's a lot going on. And of course, he served his country, went through a lot. He was a POW. That cannot be dismissed. Big T. Oh no, they're on to me. That's great. I love it. Dorothy says, I believe you're innocent. Yes. Terry Silver, legally, he should be innocent, or he should be able to get out of jail pretty quickly. And we've been pushing for that, and I look forward to sharing all of that with you just shortly. Silver was too tired when he fought LaRusso. Sebastian takes issue. Also, 4D chess. Wow. I forgot how much I recently used to feel intrigued by the wide amount of varieties of chess, as well as having 4 or more dimensions. Exactly. And I love how Joseph Cobra Kai said that about 4D chess. I mean, that's something that I always thought, even back in my videos, about, Terry Silver's playing, I think I said 3D chess, but it could be 4D chess against everyone else. He's playing this 3D, 4D chess game against all these other characters, and they don't realize they're being played. So this could be a moment where Terry Silver is just making himself look weak or losing on purpose so that he could defeat Daniel. I mean, what happens if footage of this gets released to the Valley or to the LA area? Daniel he's owner of LaRusso Auto. What happens if footage of Daniel beating up this other business owner gets out to the news? I mean, are people going to want to shop at LaRusso Auto anymore? There are serious consequences. And we have Amanda LaRusso, who's right there, consenting to all of it. So could this have major, major negative implications for LaRusso Auto and take away his livelihood? I mean, could it take away his business? I don't know. That's a good question. Tom Cole could be very happy about all this. He could be the new king of the valley. And as you know, if you've watched my material, or if you've seen Cobra Cole with David Shatraw, is it possible that Tom Cole is in cahoots with Terry Silver, or if they know each other through Willie Cole, who's mentioned in Karate Kid 3? It's very interesting where things could go, and it's not clearly a victory for Daniel and his friends. This could land them in a lot of hot water. Just those are just my thoughts. So again, wonderful tweet from Joseph Cobra Kai. And I really look forward to seeing what will happen. Reluctify Stream says Tom Cole works with Terry. Yes, I suspect. I suspect that the Coles. You got to watch out for the Coles. You don't know what's going on. There might be a lot of Coles out there, and they might not like Terry very much. Dorothy says Daniel couldn't beat Terry if he believes that his name should be Denial and not Daniel. Yes, absolutely. And Lucas, talking about Terry, instead, he's first a nice guy, and he somehow becomes bad. Yeah, it's really sad, and I hope people see what's going on with all these lies. And we are working to get Terry out of his horrible situation. So let's get into the discussion, because I want to talk about exactly what I was up to these past few weeks and what I was doing on behalf of Terry Silver. So let's head into some discussion.
KenCast discussion.
All right, here we go. So those of you who've seen my videos know I'm pushing this campaign of saving Silver, #SaveSilver. Let all your representatives know that Terry Silver needs to be released. He's being unfairly detained. He is a philanthropist and a positive influence on our society, willing to help a younger generation become better. So everyone, join me in the Save Silver campaign. We've got to get Terry out of jail. And that's what I've been up to this past week. So let me go back. This was my live stream last week. I don't know how many of you caught it, but this was a really fun location. I was able to give kind of updates from the monuments, from the Washington Monument. We got to see a little bit of the White House in the distance and the Jefferson Memorial. And then we walked up to the Lincoln Memorial, just focusing everyone's attention on our shared values of freedom, equality, and how Terry Silver supports that and why he needs to get out of jail. Indeed, Ben, save Silver. Save Silver. Yes. Before I get to that, I want to say lots of good fans. These I got a chance to see some of my oldest friends, if they're watching right now. Al Stavros, amazing seeing him. This is when I was up around Boston. This is where I grew up. Wonderful to see you again, Al. This is a good friend of mine, Jerry Kazanjian. His son might be watching now. So, but it was wonderful to spend time. My oldest friends, it's great to see them. Now, I also got a chance in Boston to meet Cody, Strike First Media. So a lot of you have been watching Strike First Media, his great content, and I got a chance to meet him in person. It was great. We sat down at Lower Mills Tavern in Dorchester. We had some Coors banquets, and we talked about Cobra Kai and what might be going on with season 6 and just content going forward. It was just absolutely amazing. And, this is a feeling I've had a long time. Every time I've met a fellow fan, fellow content creator, all of you in person, it's just been a great experience. It's almost like we've known each other for years and we're just meeting for the first time. And it's something unique I've noticed about people who are fans of Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. Everyone just seems to get along instantly. It's really amazing. So it was wonderful meeting Cody. You can see he just has an amazing shirt right there. And he's also a martial artist. He is transitioning. He's trying out some new styles. He might do Tang Sudo. We don't know. So everyone watch his channel. I know he's going to be giving updates. Definitely go subscribe if you haven't. Cody's a good guy. He's really cool to hang out with. And I hope to see him again soon at some of these Cobra Kai events. Maybe they'll go beyond LA. Now, here we go. Here is Mike, Cobra Kai Wisdom. You know him, obviously, from Instagram and all his amazing memes, from his lives he does on Instagram and Facebook and the Cobra Kai Companion Group. He's an admin there. But Also, he has appeared on KenCast, and he's a lawyer in Washington, D.C. He's given his opinions right here about how Terry Silver's not guilty. And so when I went to DC, this is in Washington DC, he took me to this place. It's a very high class bar that's almost like speakeasy style. You have to ask to get in. You can't just walk in. And so you can tell that Mike is really a wheeler and dealer in DC. And we went down to this place that you can tell all these political arrangements are being made. Everyone's in high spirits. And it was really steps. This is from across the street. This is the White House. Okay. So that's where the speakeasy style bar is in Washington, D.C. And this is where Mike and I sat down over cocktails and talked about what we're going to do to get Terry Silver out. It was a great meeting. I can't divulge everything. Some of it's confidential, but let me say we have the best legal minds on this, and we're going to do it. And Big T, if you're watching, we want to get you out. So absolutely. Here's the Washington Monument. This is actually the closest I've ever gotten to the Washington Monument. For whatever reason, I never went up to it in my previous trips to DC, but I thought it was really important because, Washington was our first president. He, led the revolution, believes, this is just a symbol of freedom. And, as I pointed out in the live stream, it's a little known fact. You can kind of see halfway up or part of the way up. It looks like halfway up in this photo. The color of the marble changes in the Washington Monument. And that's why, that's from when they ran out of money. In the early mid 1800s, they ran out of money to continue the monument. Then in the late 1800s, they restarted and they got the money to finish it. And a little known fact is that Terry Silver's ancestor, that's right, Bartholomew Silver, was able to help give money and kickstart that process to build the Washington Monument. I didn't know that, but little birdies told me when I went to Washington, D.C. So it's another great reason why we need to support Terry Silver. Okay, this is actually up in the Washington Monument. You can see this is what it looks like inside. And those are some of the little windows at the top. It's all air conditioned. You can tell there's glass over the marble. So, but this was just very inspirational to be at the top of the Washington Monument. It makes you feel like you're at the top of the world. You're looking over all of Washington, D.C. And one of those views is this. I took this from the Washington Monument. This is the White House. This is where the president resides, president of the United States. And as I mentioned in the live stream, I wasn't successful getting an audience with the president or vice president or really anyone in the cabinet. I think they were busy campaigning or something like that. But I was able to talk to some people, including people from the oil lobby, the nuclear lobby. It's like they knew who Terry Silver was. They knew who he was, and they appreciated him. And they were very receptive. And so I think these energy sectors, these people in the energy sectors, they might come together to help spring Terry. Terry's got powerful friends, guys. I'm not kidding. But there's the White House. And this is really important because the White House obviously is where the president resides. And during the live stream last week, we had a very special guest, Hayden Schlossberg, popped in to offer his thoughts. And I'm going to reread the thoughts here. The Brazilian president who just got elected used to be in prison, so anything's possible. Terry Silver gives power to the powerless. Silver for president in 2024. So here we go, guys. This is co-creator of Cobra Kai, Hayden Schlossberg. Not only is he firmly in Terry's corner, he talks about how anything is possible in this world, and I agree with him. And that he gives power to the powerless, whether it be Kenny or he tried to help with Tori. But that's what he does. Look what he did with Kenny, guys, in the Cobra Kai series. He took him from almost nobody with just this tiny kid who had no hope of beating other people. And look where he ended up. Look where Kenny ended up and how powerful he was. That was Terry. He did that. He's a wonderful teacher, and he just wants us to lift these kids up. And he knows that Cobra Kai can help him do that. Of course, the great thing that Hayden says here is that he supports Silver for president in 2024. So is it possible, guys? Could Terry Silver, if he wants to, could he be residing in this White House? I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thought. And, we need to advance the Save Silver campaign, get him out of prison, and really kind of clean up all these misperceptions of who Terry Silver is. And I think we can do it together. Again, use hashtag Save Silver, call your representatives, just get it out there on social media, spread the word that you support Terry Silver, that he was unfairly judged, he's not guilty, and he's just trying to do the right thing. So it was a very great week. Again, wonderful to meet Cody. Wonderful to meet Mike, Cobra Kai Wisdom. Go follow those guys. They just have great thoughts, very funny, and very good analysis of the series. They love the series as much as we all do. Josh Marino says White House or Ennis House. Indeed. Well, you'll notice that in season 4, Terry had this beachside house that he liked to reside at. And then season 5, he had another house. And so this guy is like a billionaire. I know that he has so many houses, places probably all over the world. I have to believe that he still owns the Ennis house, and he would like to add to his collection. And I think the White House would make a nice addition to that collection. Don't you think? I think so. Big T says, join the campaign, Silver and Gold 2024. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Big T. We'll get you in the White House. And if you can do what you did with Kenny, with the entire country of the United States, I mean, my goodness, amazing. United States will be the envy of the world with President Silver, I think. So we need to make that happen. Sebastian, save Silver. Thank you, Sebastian. I appreciate that. Marianella says, we need a series on Silver and his path to the presidency. Save Silver. I agree. What a great idea. And, if anyone associated with Sony or Netflix or the big three are watching right now, if you're taking pitches for shows, I'm happy to pitch a series about Terry Silver achieving the presidency. I also have other ideas for Terry Silver series, but I will fully support and work on any Terry Silver series to make sure that we get this guy his due, his respect. I think the world will love who he really is outside of the context of Daniel LaRusso. Just imagine Terry Silver and everything you've seen him do with no Daniel LaRusso and no Miyagi. Amazing what he could do. It's just those few people kind of taint his image a bit. Lucas says maybe Kim Da-eun will help out Kreese to remove his charges because her name would be pretty big across Korea. Interesting. Yeah. Now, we do have to bring up the elephant in the room, and that's that Kreese probably is very upset with Terry Silver. Okay, I get it. He framed him for a crime and just kind of put him in prison. It might be very hard for John Kreese to get over that. And as we saw in the flashbacks in season 5, it looks like Kim Da-eun and Kreese might have had a closer connection than Kim Da-eun and Silver. So it's possible that if Kim Da-eun has to choose between John Kreese and Terry Silver, she may go with John Kreese. But who knows? Anything's possible. I'm hoping for some kind of reconciliation between John Kreese and Terry Silver, even though I know that that's probably never going to happen. But it would be nice to see them back on the same team again, back with that same mission. Maybe John Kreese will understand somehow. I don't know. But Flip the Script says, awesome photos, Ken. Thank you. Really enjoyed your live stream taking us around the Capitol. Thank you. It's fun to do that. And honestly, guys, I'm talking to you from, kind of my studio here. But, I'm in the LA area. So if there are places you'd like me to do live streams from that are, maybe related to Karate Kid, let me know if you want to do that too, if you like those on location live streams. Because that would be fun to talk about Karate Kid history and Cobra Kai history and movie history around the LA area. So let me know what you think. Bryce Productions, Ken Cole, what episode do you think Terry will get out of jail in season 6? Episode 1. I don't think he's going to spend any time in jail. Strike First Media had this brilliant video talking about how in season 6, we may likely see the return of Willie Cole. And if Willie Cole is still tied in with the DA's office, I don't know if he's still the DA or if, he just knows people, Terry might be leaving jail very quickly or may not even go to jail. So we'll see. Peter says goes to prison in 2019 and runs for prez by 2024. The man is driven. I think if you make the case that he's wrongfully incarcerated, that it was just an incompetent police force. I mean, think about that. They're willing to put Terry Silver, a known billionaire and philanthropist, in prison just because some guy named who calls himself Stingray changes his testimony just based on that one thing. He he implicated John Kreese, right, and got him in prison, but now he's changing his story, and just based on that, they're putting Terry Silver in prison. That's to me poor police work. I'm sorry. And if anyone here is watching who's in law enforcement, please let me know what you think about that. But I think that's poor police work. And that's easy for the public to understand that he was wrongfully accused. So that's just my thoughts on that. Sacha David, in the flashback in season 2, Kreese was like in the first movie when talking to young Johnny in that timeline. In timeline that was before he and Silver went to Korea, where he was all smiles and happy, inconsistent. Well, one of the most interesting things about this series, and I think the story of John Kreese and Terry Silver, is just how much of the story that's been teased and how much we really just don't know. And I think it's very interesting to see all these little teases as to how did these people get to be how they are now. In the flashback so far, we really don't see Terry Silver, how he became so dominating in his martial arts. We've seen him basically be afraid, in the POW camp, and then we see him training with Kim Sun Young, but now we see him being this master that can go toe to toe with Chosen. How did he get to be like that? How did Kreese get to be who he is now? So Roundtable says they'll probably flee to South Korea, which would go with what Ralph Macchio was saying about how everything's going to go global, hopefully. And that's fun. I think that's a lot of fun. I would love to see the series go global, step out of the valley, and who knows what John Kreese can do when he's not confined by U.S. law. Let's see. Vice President Silver. That's interesting, Josh. Who would be president? I don't know. Would Terry Silver be happy with being vice president? Probably like he enjoyed being number 2 of the Cobra Kai franchise. I don't think he liked that very much. So I think if Terry Silver's your vice president, you got to be looking over your shoulder all the time. Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's probably true. Terry Silver would be one heartbeat away from the presidency. And, you got to wonder who's going to extinguish that heartbeat so that Terry Silver can be president. I know that's dark, but, sometimes it's, as Terry would say, it's a matter of survival. The Roundtable says if Silver is president, then Margaret would fill multiple cabinet positions since she's a good secretary. Yeah, I think so. If Margaret's still around, we haven't seen really the series address Milos and Margaret at all. We see Terry's new butler, and we don't know what the new butler's name is, and so we don't know. Sorry, I had a little system issue here. We don't know who the new help is. If Margaret's retired, maybe she has her own place at Tahiti. We don't know, but it'd be interesting to know what happened to Milos and Margaret, who were great help to Terry. Lucas says, "What's LA like?" I love LA. I think it's fun. There's so many different places in LA you can go. It's this big city. It's just spread out. It's sprawling. People don't like the traffic. That is a negative, but I mean, you're very close to the ocean. You're very close to nature. There's lots of mountains and parks that you can just get to from the city. It's like you can be in the city and you can get to Griffith Park, where the Hollywood sign is, and you could be in wilderness and hiking around. It's very, you can go north into the mountains, you can go into the desert, you can go to the ocean. I like it. It's fun. And there's a lot of inspirational locations and stuff like that if you're into film. And there's always something to do. And of course, with filmmakers and everything like that, it's just it's a great location. So yeah, I recommend it. If you've never been to LA, you should check it out. It's big though. You might need some time to explore it. Sasha says, how will Cobra Kai stand any chance when it's Daniel, Johnny, Chosen, and Barnes on the other side? Well, people have alluded to the fact that some of these people that you mentioned, Daniel, Johnny, Chosen, and Barnes, could be in jail. I mean, they are committing crimes. We saw them commit crimes. I mean, we might like them, We wouldn't want them to go to jail, but Lady Justice, she's blind, right? So maybe they'll go to jail, or maybe some of them will go to jail, so they're not able to really take on Cobra Kai and Terry Silver, whatever happens. Josh says, KenCast with the neighbors. Where's the location of the new House of Silver? Yeah, you see, the thing is with the shooting locations, I believe they're all in the Atlanta area now. So I think Terry Silver's new houses probably more towards the East Coast, around Atlanta and Georgia. So unfortunately, I might not easily be able to go there to visit, but that would be fun to go see those locations. Absolutely. Roundtable says the law enforcement in the Cobra Kai universe hasn't been known to be good. It's true. The cops have been a non-factor, and then they just step in and they just muck things up. So I don't know who that detective is, but obviously he's screwing over a lot of people, and it's not good. And I would expect maybe repercussions if Terry knows people in the Justice Department, or at least the LA Justice Department, if that's what they call it. There could be repercussions for this detective. Okay. Nelson says Terry Silver committed crime to, Johnny Deep Fake is awesome. Yeah. Well, again, maybe he didn't really commit any crimes. Definitely check out that video if you haven't seen it. Terry Silver's Not Guilty. That's in the description. And we'll go through all the legal reasons why Terry Silver should be out of jail. Lucas says Terry Silver's the Mr. Beast of Cobra Kai. That's great. Roundtable says I'm very ready for a season 6 official announcement. Yeah, I agree. It might be happening soon. Peter says, thought we just talked about Cold Silver 2024. Yeah, I'm on board. Oh, maybe that's it. Terry Silver. Well, guys, if you're saying I should be, or Tom Cole should be, or Willie Cole should be president and Silver vice president, I think that's a dangerous position. You just got to let Terry be president, just for your own personal safety. I think he's very comfortable with people being his vice president, but I don't think he'd want to serve under anyone else. Scratch Tom Cole. How about a Biff Tannen and Terry Silver in 2024 ticket? Yeah. Now, Biff Tannen, just this amazing character from the Back to the Future franchise. They have quite, I would say, a difference in intelligence. Biff Tannen's definitely very ruthless and selfish, but you'd have to think that Terry Silver would maybe get frustrated with Biff Tannen, who's kind of a brute. Let's be honest. But maybe Terry knows how to deal with brutes. So maybe that could work. Again, maybe Biff Tannen could be vice president. He's got some charisma, I think. Lucas says, can we talk about why Terry won't go to jail? Yes, I would say check out. There was a whole live stream KenCast about why Terry Silver is not guilty. And then I kind of condensed that into that video in the description about why Terry Silver won't go to jail. Definitely check that out. I think the basic reason of why he won't go to jail is he's just too rich and well connected. He can hire the best lawyers. And I think the police department, or the district attorney, will probably be scared to indict Terry Silver because just of how powerful he is. And it's like, they really need to get it right if they're going to pursue charges against Terry Silver. I think that's one reason why he won't go to jail. And, he has too much power and influence, and the evidence is too flimsy. How about that? I think that's just my thoughts. Reluctify streams. What are some martial artists you'd like to potentially see in Cobra Kai? The number one martial artist I'd like to see in Cobra Kai is Sensei William Christopher Ford, who plays Dennis. He's just got such an amazing presence. He's so good. Kaizen Dojo Films is his YouTube channel. He knows everyone, associated with the Cobra Kai Miyagi verse, like Sensei Ron Thomas, who's also a martial artist. If you've seen William Christopher Ford fight, I think those would be incredible action scenes. He's just so good. So that's probably my number one wish for a martial artist I'd like to see in Cobra Kai. Peter says, nothing to base this off of, but I think we'll get a bit of time jump to start season 6. That's a really good question. I just don't know. I know that the series has done well by it's still in 2019, and obviously 2020 is when the pandemic happens. And so what happens when you hit 2020? Are they going to address that? Does that change things? I know lots of places were kind of shut down for a year. Or they just continue into the future and kind of disregard the pandemic? I don't know. So there could be a time jump till after the pandemic, maybe. But then I don't know. It's like, especially with Terry Silver in prison, maybe they'll talk about how Terry Silver gets out of prison and then do a time jump pretty quick at the beginning. I'm not sure. It is interesting that the end of season 5 almost felt like a conclusion, like it could be a conclusion. And so maybe you're right. Things would need to kind of ramp up again. So maybe a time jump would do that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Yuji and Thomasine Griffith's chemistry was tops. I agree. I have to say, episode 2 was one of my absolute favorite episodes of the series, especially with Terry Silver and the writing. And I loved that relationship. It was very brief, but I loved that relationship between Terry and Chosen. It's almost like they could connect on a certain level. And it's too bad, the story didn't have time to explore that, but that would have been interesting to see. If not for Daniel again, how would those two characters relate? Sato at a time was in a way very similar to Terry Silver. He was rich. He was very aggressive in his martial arts. He was ruthless. He bought the entire town. He just bought everything up in Okinawa. And, he was a master, a karate master, very similar to Terry Silver. So it'd be interesting to see where those two characters would go and how they would relate absent Daniel LaRusso, I think. So Big T, my good friend Biff, would make an excellent running mate. Okay, well, there you go. You heard it from Big T. And sir, if you want to have Biff Tannen on your ticket, I am 100% on board with that. Please don't tell him I said anything about him being a brute. Thanks. Chris Klotz, a member of the channel. Thank you, Chris, for being a member and supporting the channel. Johnny and Mike are being sued by Terry and Chosen got deported. Yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of problems for Mike Barnes, Johnny, Chosen, and Daniel going forward. Flip the script says, go give Momona a girlfriend a squeeze for me. Yeah, and what if Momona comes back? She may have some problems with some people. Ken, do you think Terry has a personality disorder? It's a good question. I'm not a psychologist. However, I did do a deep dive into Terry Silver being a psychopath. I would definitely recommend checking that video out because I go into the reasons why I think Terry's personality actually matches that of a psychopath. So I guess in that sense, he could have an antisocial personality disorder. Check that video out and let me know what you think. I think it's possible. Sebastian says, have you ever talked directly to John Hurwitz and or Hayden Schlossberg before just asking? Yeah, briefly. I was with Peter Bonasak actually at Paley Fest, and I talked with them for just a minute or two, and they wished me a happy birthday at the time it was my birthday. Thank you, Peter, for tipping them off. And then I briefly saw them at the concert, the Enter the Dojo concert, with Zach and Leo playing. So I've run into them a couple times, but I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with them. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I should maybe see if they'd be interested in an interview at some point? That would be fun. We'll see. They're very talented, very, very cool, nice people, very talented. So big fan of their work. Roundtable says, I think Terry's strategy going forward will be to make it look like he's defeated and off the board while he secretly makes plans to take down all of his enemies. I think you just said it perfectly, Roundtable. Thank you for your comment. I think that is Terry Silver to a big T. Absolutely. He will definitely do that. He won't take it lying down. And maybe the story going forward is that John Kreese, his non-negotiable is he wants to run Cobra Kai. And I think Terry doesn't want to give that up either. So it's possible we could see them run into each other in very exciting ways going forward. I don't know. Could we see an actual fight between Kreese and Terry Silver? Maybe not even in the United States. It's just so interesting to think of all the possibilities. Bryce says, Ken Cole, what do you think is the most likely role scenario that Dennis will be in Cobra Kai? It's a really great question. I don't know. There are a lot of directions he could go. He could be pro Terry Silver. It could be that he's still working for Terry Silver somehow. It could be that maybe Terry Silver screwed over Dennis in the past, business wise, and so he went away and did his own thing. And maybe similar to Mike Barnes, he's kind of like his own entity. He's not really tied to Terry. Maybe he's a rogue character. So he's not really for anyone else. Maybe he's just into the money because he was probably the original mercenary. I mean, he was a martial artist who just worked for Terry Silver. He didn't seem to have like really a lot of personal investment in these things. He was really a mercenary, a trainer, someone that Terry confided in. So I don't know. He probably knows a lot about Terry too. I wonder if someone like Tom Cole or Willie Cole or Terry's enemies would try to track down Dennis to try to get more compromising information. So you saw how Daniel didn't do a good job of that, though. Like he tried to get a hold of the former attorney for Terry Silver. Didn't go well. So I don't know. It's a really interesting question. I think that's a fun idea that writers could have a lot of fun with. How do we bring back Dennis? Aaron says there's no word if they're going to do season 6. There's no official word yet. I think you're absolutely correct. From Ralph Macchio's comments recently, it does seem very positive that there will be a season 6. To me, it sounds like they're just kind of negotiating the terms, like probably the budget. What are we going to do? Are we going to renew for 1 season or 2 seasons? Are we going to keep this going? Are we going to end it? That type of thing. So I think we're going to hear something at some point, but I bet they're just in the middle of negotiations right now. Flip the Script says, True Ken, episode 2 is a standout episode. Bring back Sensei Joe. Yeah, that was great. I could have watched Sensei Joe for like 3 or 4 more episodes. Like that would have been so much fun, I think, to have chosen in the middle of Cobra Kai. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that dynamic in episode 2. Roundtable says, I hope to see a Kreese versus Silver fight. I agree. Marco says, I smell the ultimate betrayal by Barnes. Maybe it was a Terry's plan. It was planted by the beginning. Mike was knocked out before he could do anything, and he was the one who brought the guys into Silver's house. Here's what I've noticed about Daniel as a character. He tends to kind of go off too quickly and emotionally on things. He tends to believe things maybe too quickly. And you can see he was just so quick to jump at the idea that Terry Silver burned down Mike's store. And he was so quick to try and convince Mike that it was Terry who burned down his store. It was just so odd, though, that Mike was so unstable. He didn't look quite right, but he wanted to blame Ralph. Or sorry, not Ralph. Daniel LaRusso for burning down his store. But then Daniel, in a second, was able to talk him out of it and say, no, it was Terry Silver who did it. So I think Daniel sometimes doesn't think too strategically or calmly about things. And a lot of people have brought up the possibility that Mike Barnes maybe was more involved with the burning of his store, or who knows, may have been more involved with Terry Silver than we know. Notice that Mike Barnes said, I haven't seen Terry in years. I'm paraphrasing in episode 3. Now, years to me would be like maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe 7 years, right? Because if it had been 30 years or 35 years, certainly he would have said that. He would have said, I hadn't seen him in decades. I haven't seen him in over 30 years. But he just said, I haven't seen him in years. So to me, it almost sounds like Mike and Terry might have had contact maybe within the last 5 years or so, 8 years. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But there might be more to Mike Barnes than has been revealed so far. Josh says, I think Dennis and Snake will be back if Terry will not be rich. Yeah, I hope so. I sure hope so. Dorothy says, I wonder what Snake's name linked to Cobra Kai. I don't know. We check out the interview with William Christopher Ford because he talks about and on my channel, part 1. Check that out because he talks about how Snake and Dennis got their names. It's kind of interesting. Peter says Hayden has said season 5 was not the end. It's up to Netflix to make the announcement. Yeah, that's. I think Peter. I think you're right, and I think they're just in negotiations right now, and so no one wants to say anything for sure because we're not sure if it's going to be season 6 or more, or if it's going to be the end. So budget, it comes down to money. I think they're hammering out the money. Marianella says maybe Dennis and Snake are still working for Terry, and maybe they'll help Terry get out of jail and get his reputation back. And maybe we'll see them together in season 6. Hopefully. I hope so too. And again, if anyone out there has seen Jonathan Albinson, Jonathan, if you're watching, we're huge fans. We'd love to see you come back and be part of the Cobra Kai universe. 100%. Roundtable says, yeah, I wouldn't mind a Snake and Dennis cameo, but they don't need a big part. There's enough characters already. Well, yeah, I think it really gets down to how much time do they have? What's the story going forward? And I know the writers think about this. How can we bring them in? I think it was Hayden as well who said something along the lines of Colonel Dugan from Next Karate Kid has come up consistently in the writer's room. It's just a matter of how do we get him involved? And someone else who's watched the channel, Talking Straight with Nate, brought up a very interesting point that the painting that Mike Barnes stole from Terry was actually a painting that was stolen from the Gardner Museum, the Rembrandt. And that museum was in Boston. It is in Boston now. So that could be a connection to Boston, which we know is where the movie The Next Karate Kid took place, and also where Colonel Dugan lives. So who knows? Is he working security for that museum now? Is that somehow an entry point for Colonel Dugan and Julie Pierce to come back into the Cobra Kai story? I don't know. So let's see. Dorothy, more not making the announcement flicks than Netflix. Right. And who knows, there could be also be a PR angle to this. Maybe it is, sewn up. Maybe there is going to be an announcement. Maybe they have signed the contracts already, but maybe they're just waiting for the right time to announce it. Because you'll notice that I think it was either with Peter or Cobra Kai Theory that Robert Mark Kamen had an interview where he actually let slip that Terry Silver and Thomas Ian Griffith were going to be in Cobra Kai. Like, he was the first confirmation. I don't know if that was supposed to come out or not, but he confirmed really early that Terry Silver was going to be in season 4 and season 5. Right. And no one knew anything about a season 5. It was not announced that season 5 was happening at all. And they still didn't officially announce season 5, I think, until after season 4 came out, even though we knew, pre-production was happening and they were going to shoot it kind of back to back. So it's possible that this stuff could have been renewed or is about to be renewed, but they just won't announce it yet. And maybe that's Ralph Macchio's quote is kind of alluding to that. He seemed very positive. I don't think he would say that publicly if, there was a small chance that it was going to be renewed. So we'll see. Bryce Productions, hashtag bring back Snake. Yes, I think that's great. 100% on board with that. Robert says, how many more of the Cobra Kai series were going to be? It's a great question. I think they could go as long as they want, as long as they have a story that they want to tell. There was someone in the comments in the comments of one of my videos that said that he knew someone who worked on the show and that they were kind of throwing around 8 seasons at one point. I don't know if that's the case now. We don't know, but they kind of had mentally thought about there being 8 seasons. I think if there are rumors of the Miyagi-verse and doing spin-off shows, I think in order for the spin-offs to do well, you want to launch the spin-offs while there's momentum in your main show. So I would think you'd want your show to be around at least a couple more seasons, maybe 2 to 3 more seasons. So I bet there'll be at least 7 seasons. That's just me. I think there'll be at least 7 seasons. And if we get a spin-off show, I know there are rumors of a young Kreese Silver show or a young Miyagi show, or at least that's what people want to see. They're going to want to release those while Cobra Kai is still happening, because that's kind of built-in interest and it gets people psyched up. And that may also be tied to the renewal of Cobra Kai and maybe why we haven't heard anything yet, is that they're doing a deal on not just Cobra Kai, the main series, but spin-off shows as well. So who knows? When we get an announcement about season 6, there might be some extra goodness that'll be announced around the same time. So we'll see. I'm interested to see about what we're going to see. Dorothy says we need a Lynn spinoff. That would be great. A homeless Lynn spinoff. That would be fantastic. I know Susan Gallagher would just do an amazing job with that series. Justin says, I would like to see Terry Silver in the same prison where Kreese was at, go through the same thing in prison like Kreese did. Interesting. I know. It would be kind of just poetic justice, wouldn't it, for that to happen? Roundtable says, Robert Mark Kamen is funny. He just casually drops these big spoilers. Yes. And actually, Peter, if you still, Peter, I think still on listening. I don't know if he talked about this. I hope I can say this, but in the past in interviews, he's actually dropped spoilers that Peter, you've had to kind of check with the big three to see if it's okay to include, and you've sometimes had to not include that in interviews. So, he is what is he? He's the godfather of the Miyagi-verse, so he can say what he wants. We love Robert Mark Kamen. He's created everything we like to watch. So Marco says, if you take a look at Anthony Albinson's channel, you can see some content, including Jonathan Albinson, really funny stuff. Yeah, I was wondering too, because obviously I haven't seen Jonathan Albinson in a long time. And some of those videos, I think there's one where he's kind of doing joke interviews at conventions and that kind of thing, which was pretty funny. I think that was Jonathan Albinson, or was that Anthony Albinson? I don't know. I don't know how closely they resemble each other, but yeah, it was pretty funny. And then Peter says, correct, I still have some clips I haven't released. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, so this is Peter from Cobra Kai Companion, if you've just joined. So Peter is confirming that in past interviews with Robert Mark Kamen, he has let loose spoilers of what's going to happen with the show in the future that he's had to hold back. He can't publish them. Like, he's been told by the big three and others that he cannot show these segments of the interviews because they are kind of revealing things that shouldn't be revealed yet. So what Peter is saying is that he still has some clips right now, things that Robert Mark Kamen has said that he hasn't released, probably because he can't say it yet. So guys, it looks like there might be more brewing than we know about. So obviously, Peter, give us 1 thumb up for yes and 2 thumbs up for no if there's some seriously cool stuff that we just don't know about yet. If you're still there and you're willing to respond. So that's really cool. Josh says, if Kumiko Train was chosen in the last 35 years, poor Kim. Yeah, we don't know. You're right. Chosen said that Kumiko really helped save him. So is it something where she studied as well? She obviously is a master of dance, which she have enjoyed studying the martial arts. That would be fun, actually, if Kumiko was actually a badass in martial arts. I love that idea. That's great. Peter says, a winky face and 1 thumbs up, guys. Okay, so there's confirmation. You've heard it on KenCast. If not on Peter's channel, there's stuff brewing, cool stuff that we don't know about. So don't get too down on Cobra Kai season 6 news. It looks like the plan is bigger maybe than just season 6 of Cobra Kai. I Love Japan 24 says the creators have signed a huge deal with Netflix until 2025, which sounds very promising. Yeah. And actually right now we've got other projects that they're working on. Obliterated, that's going to be a Netflix show. That's a brand new action comedy that they're filming right now. I don't know if the Duke Nukem movie is tied to Netflix or not. And I don't know if this Ferris Bueller spinoff, that could be tied to Netflix as well. So that's really kind of, they have a lot of amazing projects coming. And so you would think that Cobra Kai and other Miyagi-verse content could be part of that. Marco says, the ones doing the interviews is Jonathan Albinson. Anthony's the tall guy starring in Hardtop and Shades, the epic saga in the same channel. The short guy with the mustaches is Jonathan. Okay, great. Okay, so guys, if you're interested in Jonathan Albinson, who played Snake, maybe Anthony Albinson's channel is the place to go. So go to his YouTube channel. You can check out some content where Jonathan Albinson's featured, and maybe there are some hints as to where Jonathan might be if he's out there and if he'd want to come back and perform as Snake once again. Very cool. John Fanny, thank you for commenting. Even though Silver brutally attacked Stingray, Stingray did enter the dojo when asked to leave many times, trespassing for Stingray. Yeah, 100%. And, we talked about this with our legal experts. Isn't that amazing that Stingray, he trespassed, into the Cobra Kai dojo. He assaulted, big kids, but they were kids. And he's recanted his testimony, and they're just believing him now that he's accusing Terry Silver. I mean, very low credibility for Stingray legally right now. And he could be facing some legal troubles too. I wonder if this will all get sorted out in Cobra Kai season 6, but it looks like all signs are pointing to the fact that Terry Silver shouldn't be in jail, and all these other people should be in jail. And I have to think, what's going to happen with Daniel assaulting a philanthropist in the Cobra Kai dojo, probably caught on film, when he and Amanda are owners of LaRusso Auto? We know what happened. They lost so much business after the whole, kicking Miguel over the balcony thing, as Tom Cole mentioned. They lost so much business. What's going to happen when video comes out of Daniel assaulting philanthropist Terry Silver, who's giving children free lessons, underprivileged children? He was giving them lessons for free. He was supporting kids. What happens to Daniel and his business? It could be dark days for the LaRusso family going forward. They might lose all their income. Maybe he'll have to move out of his mansion and move back to his apartments, South Seas apartments. Who knows? They're still there. They are still there. Ben says, I'm really interested to see the Ferris Bueller spinoff. I know, me too. I love John, Josh, and Hayden just have a great comic sensibility, and obviously the talent, which is a rare talent, being able to really hone in on what makes a movie or a franchise popular and kind of translate that going forward. So I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with the Ferris Bueller spinoff. Big T, good to see you again. I'll have them all thrown behind bars one by one before I'm through. Absolutely. We're going to get you out from behind bars soon, Big T, so you can do just that. We're all on board, and we look forward to you being president as well. Who's going to fight for Cobra Kai and the Saikai Taikai now? Well, that's a good question. Who is going to be recruited? Will people see through what happened with Terry Silver? Will some of the students go back? Or will it be a whole bunch of new students? Will we see new people from abroad? Will it be an international group of new students into Cobra Kai? I don't know. It's fascinating. What could happen? I can't wait. All right. I love Japan 24 says, I think it seems logical for the creators to announce season 6 officially after they finish filming Obliterated, maybe in the new year, which finishes in a few days. Here's hoping. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think that could happen. After they finish that and it's gone into post-production, we could hear some news about Cobra Kai season 6 and, cross our fingers, maybe more about the Miyagi-verse. So that's great. Flip the script. Fun fact, Karate Kid 2, Tracy Taguchi, who plays Yuna, was Miss Hawaii in 1995, 9 years after she starred in Karate Kid 2. I didn't know that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Flip the script. It was wonderful to see her character again come back in Cobra Kai season 3. I really love how the series really gives these characters their due, and helps us to understand these characters more. And it just makes the world, the universe, more complete. So, well, everyone, I want to say thank you for joining today, whether you're watching live or on the replay. It's just really great to get in contact with you again, to share with you some of my exploits in Washington, D.C. and everything we're doing to save silver. So it's wonderful to have you here. I love hearing from you. Thank you for all your comments. And I look forward to seeing you again in more KenCast. We're going to have a lot to talk about. If there are some topics that you'd like to hear about, put them in the comments, not just in the live chat, but in the comments as well. We might obviously do Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, but branch out into some other things that are fun too. So I don't know. Do you guys like the Rocky or Creed franchises as well? Anything you'd like to talk about, just if you have ideas, just put it in the comments, and maybe we'll do that. So it's wonderful seeing you. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Stay strong in the fight to get Terry Silver out of prison. Big T, it's going to happen. We're going to get you out. And I look forward to seeing you all next time on KenCast Live. Have a good week.